Who could have imagined where we would be today when, 1 year ago, we celebrated a quarter century after the first democratic elections? Freedom Day. Yet we are locked up. More and more, it seems like 2020 might end up bringing the biggest changes to our country since those transformative years in the early 1990s, following on decades of struggle. Years we remember every year on the symbolic date of 27 April. Perhaps 2020 is also the year where we are most painfully confronted with how far the transformation of our society still needs to go. The lockdown and preparations for a surge in sick people at our hospitals is a reminder of the fact that we have not yet built a society where we can care adequately for everyone who is sick. The struggles and fears around food security is a reminder that we have not yet built a society where the most basic human rights are met. The vastly different experiences of lockdown in different communities, a reminder of the stark inequality still marking our society. Yet contrary to what some might feel, our lack of joint worship need not be a sign of any decline in religious activity in this time. Throughout the Bible, we are reminded that the true worship of God is not marked by our participation in ritual, liturgy, or sermon. Rather, the mark of true worship is where we care for a neighbor, where we work for justice for all. We frequently listen to the words of Isaiah 58, where God asks, "Is this the kind of fast I've chosen, only a day for people to humble themselves?" And then answer the question by reminding, "Is not this the kind of fasting I have chosen, to loose the chains of injustice and untie the cords of the yoke, to set the oppressed free and break every yoke? Is it not to share your food with the hungry and to provide the poor wanderer with shelter?" True worship is worship that draws us into a life that cares for others. In this time where our gathering is prohibited, the question we are called to ask is whether our gatherings over the years have formed us to care, to look after, to heal, to feed, to seek justice for all. During the week, I was reading a book that beautifully reminded that while the care for the poor and the powerless was often mentioned in ancient codes of law, as it is today, what made ancient Israel different from other nations is that caring for the poor and the powerless was not made the task of the king, but of the whole community. As we look to governments responding, let us remember in this time that as Christians, we cannot leave this to government only. It is our worship to join hands in care. It is our worship to support responsible authorities when their actions bring about justice for all, and to raise our voices when this does not happen. But not only to raise our voices, also to roll up our sleeves, because this is the faith that we have been drawn to. I want to allow you time to reflect on this, to perhaps discuss it with those that you are locked down with or working with today. Pause the audio or the video if you need some time. Then when you play it again, then you can receive God's blessing. Go out into the world in peace. Have courage. Hold fast to what is good. Return no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the suffering. Honor all people. Love and serve the Lord your God, rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen.